I've come to see this assessment and motivation as two very intertwined concepts. I don't think you can actually separate the two. In order to do assessment really well, you have to understand the uh, the science behind motivation. And what the science of motivation has been telling us for a very long time, over about 30 years at least, is that we know that there's not one kind of motivation. I don't actually care how motivated my students are or my children, because to ask how motivated someone is deceiving. It's a deceiving question because it implies that there's only one kind. You have a lot or you have a very little, and this isn't true. Most people have come to see that motivation can be separated into two kinds. You have intrinsic or you have extrinsic. And uh, the real catchy part is that they tend to be have an inverted relationship. If one grows, the other will diminish. If you if you reward someone for something, um, you will gain short-term compliance, and they will do it. But their love for doing whatever it is that you're bribing them to do it will diminish. The intrinsic desire to do it will diminish. So teachers really have no business using extrinsic motivators in order to assess kids. The catch here is that grades can only ever be experienced by not only children but adults as well. The only way anyone can experience a grade is it's either a reward or it's a punishment. You cannot experience it in any other way. Um, because that's true, we need to get rid of them. And I draw from an American psychologist's work, Jerome Bruner, and I've taken one of his very inspiring quotes, and I've taken it and I've adapted it as a part of my teaching philosophy, and that is that students should experience their successes and failures not as reward and punishment, but as information. What Bruner does for us is he tells us two things. One is what do we need to get rid of, and that is the rewards and the punishment. But he also offers us a solution, a direction to go in exchange for rewards and punishment, and that is information. Just provide the kids with the information they need in order to get better. Um, because the point here is that what does it matter if we can manipulate and coerce children into being excellent readers and writers, but in the process we destroy any desire they have to read or write when we're done with them. Uh, when we talk about children's attitude, one of the best definitions I've ever heard is the idea that the number one attitude we want to instill in children is an attitude to go on learning. And that's even in the face of adversity. Grades do not encourage this. Grades do not encourage a healthy, resilient attitude in the face of failure. Instead, grades tend to be rather demotivating and actually encourage a kind of paralysis in people, because we often get this, Carol Dweck would call this a fixed mindset, where we would come to see school as this place where we have to continually either A, prove over and over again how good we are because the teacher's watching, or B, we have to hide our deficiencies. We have to hide our weaknesses because we don't want anybody to see that. Because under this model, we see teachers as these judges in waiting. This is a horrible model. It does not encourage children to develop a love for learning. Often what it does is it encourages them to have a rather dysfunctional relationship with mistakes and failures. And instead of seeing mistakes and failures as these beautiful things that we can learn from, kids come to see them as something that if we just tried hard enough, if we just cared more, if we just worked hard enough, mistakes and failures would never happen. This is a very destructive relationship to have with mistakes and failures, because then we continually run away from the opportunity to get better. And then we become very defensive and we become very entrenched in who we already are because, quite frankly, we can't really get any better. Again, this goes back to Carol Dweck's fixed mindset work. I would far rather instill in children a growth mindset where they have a very intimate relationship and authentic relationship with their mistakes and failures. But in order for that to happen, the teacher cannot be a judge in waiting. They have to be seen as a safe and caring ally. If you want to really see where the teacher and the kids fall in this, go walk into a classroom or a school and do a pronoun test and listen to the kids and see when they talk about the principal or the teachers or their parents, do they say us, we, or do they say them? Because when they start identifying the adults in their life as them, as these people that are on the other team, it becomes an adversarial relationship, and this is very dysfunctional. And grades very, very often are at the source or at the heart of how this dysfunctional relationship comes to be.